One of the great thing about music and about human beings is that we all think we're the best poets, we make the best everything. You know, every culture has that. You hear that here, even in the United States. You go down to Louisiana and they think they're the best. They have the real music there. And it's because we love the music. We love it so much. And we identify with it and we think, well, of course, everybody learned it from us. Because music is that thing that it goes to the heart so clearly and so directly. So no one will give much ground on who was the best country for jazz or for pizza or for poetry or for almost anything. Isn't that true? And I think it's a great thing. I mean, I love to hear that. I love to hear that the best jazz has got to be the Cajun players up in Sicilia, Louisiana. I mean, and you know, they're very good players. They are good.
They certainly are, and they have a great brass band tradition there. So after the flute, I think in your late teens, you decided to shift to the piano.
Well, I began, I was playing piano too as a kid. But in my family, I had a brother and a sister, and they're still alive. But we all had studied music, but we were only allowed to study one instrument. So I picked the flute. Well, my brother took piano, which was a complete waste of time for him, by the way. And he will admit it. My sister, I don't know I don't think she lasted long in the piano business either. But what I did, I wanted to play the piano, but I wasn't allowed to take piano lessons because I was taking the flute lessons. But what I would do is I would go, in those days, some fellow would come up to the house once a week and he would give the lessons right at the house. And I don't think they paid more than $5 a lesson. I doubt whether my parents paid more than that or even that much. And so I would sit in the room while the lesson was going on, and as soon as the teacher left, I would run over and play the lesson. Of course, my brother thought I was teasing him, and he would beat the bejeebies out of me. So, like he said, I was stealing his lessons. And he was right, I was. But so I was actually playing piano much younger, but I wasn't officially playing piano until I got to Juilliard, and I took it as a second. I took it as my second instrument. I didn't take the flute. I was doing composition, and my second major was piano.
So in terms of composition, I mean, obviously you started as a musician. Many of us start as musicians. Very few decide to become composers. Was that a choice you made, or was it something that you just realized you had to become?
It was a choice. And it came about because I had been playing music since I was 6, 7, and 8. That's normal for 6 is I have 2 little boys who play. They started them when they were 6. It's a good age to start. The hands are not for piano. I got a little guy that's 9 years old, but he can just do an octave now. And he was doing a Clementi sonata, and I said, no, don't bother with the octave. He said, no, I can do it. And he moved it. He took his hand, turned it around that way, and grabbed the keys from the side, and he could do it. I was very impressed. But at any rate, I was playing music, and when I was 15, I began to ask myself a question. The question was a very simple question. The question was, where does music come from? Now, we all ask that. Sooner or later, we all ask that question. And that worried me for years, for a long time. So I said, well, let me start to write music. If I write music, I can find out where it comes from. That makes sense, right? Well, I never did. And I finally realized that when I was, I'm telling you, 40 years later, I said, I've been asking the wrong question.
What's the right question?
Well, I thought at that time, the question keeps changing. I'm not done. Then I said, no, the question is, where does it come from? But what is it to begin with? What is it? You know. So then I worked on that one for a while, and I thought, well, I would say, well, it's you see, you can't say it's just a language exclusive to human beings, because it isn't. We have birds, and we have fish, and we have all kinds of things that we don't even know about around us. So music it seems to be something that is shared by other animals on the planet besides us. So that's not fair to say that. But I thought, well, I put it this way. I said, well, of the languages that human beings speak, it's the one that's the most eloquent.
That's beautiful.
But don't tell it to a poet. he won't agree with that. Or if you tell it to a dancer, they won't agree with it, and they're right not to. And then I became dissatisfied with that answer. You want to know where I currently am with this?
Okay,
I'm not done.
Where's it at now?
Okay. I was doing a talk very much like this very, very recently. And someone said, and we were having this conversation. And someone said, okay, Mr. Glasswell, what's your present view of it? And I said, without thinking, which is usually a pretty reliable source, if it doesn't go through the filter of intellectual expression, when I said, without thinking, I said, music is a place. It's a place which is as real as Chicago or Sydney or any place you've ever been to. It's an absolute, actual place. And they said, oh, and I said, oh. So that's where I am right now.
Music is a place.
Yeah.
There it is, yeah. That's something that we can all think about for some time, I think.
Yes.
That's
I
have not heard that one.
I hadn't heard it either.